Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are doing our daily MLB pitching preview show with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. We're looking for hints and tips for possible betting value for Tuesday, August 11th. Joe Duffy, now that NFL preseason has started, is the focus still on baseball as much as it ever is with you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I make time. I love baseball. There's so much to be made on baseball. And, the truth is I basically have my metrics and my techniques down. So it's impossible to pass up on baseball. Too many opportunities.
Right. Second nature for Joe Duffy. And Joe Duffy's website, of course, OffshoreInsiders.com. That's where his picks are, premium picks are every day. All right, Tuesday. I guess first thing I want to ask about Luis Severino for the Yankees, right? Highly touted youngster. Had great numbers in the minors, had a great MLB debut. Now he's going to be in his second start at Cleveland. It can be a little bit of a different story when a highly touted youngster has a great first start, then goes on the road. Cleveland, not the most fearsome lineup in the world, but they're certainly decent. Carlos Carrasco also coming off 2 straight complete games, just 1 earned run in those games. He's been worse at home this year, though. This is kind of a tough game to suss out. Do you expect another dominant start from Severino? What do you think, Joe?
Not necessarily, Matt. There's no question Severino's a stud, but I've said it so many times, when these studs come up, there's always going to be a bump in the road. Now, usually doesn't necessarily happen on his second start, but it is a pretty good pitching matchup. Carlos Carrasco, he made an adjustment in the way he pitches, and as a result, he's thrown consecutive 9-inning outings and just allowed 1 earned run in those 18 innings. So he has been red hot. And, when pitchers make adjustments, sometimes it is truly mechanical. Sometimes they just convince themselves and it's more mental. But, he's in a groove right now. Now, is this necessarily the spot that Severino is assured to get knocked around? Not necessarily, but remember, as a general rule of thumb, these guys who still aren't completely proven, and one game doesn't prove that a guy is a stud at the major league level. These highly touted guys who haven't completely proven themselves at the major league level yet, I usually look for some inconsistency from them.
All right, but his minor league numbers were awesome too, Joe.
Well, I know, but there are plenty of guys that had spectacular minor league numbers. Again, this isn't about whether or not, if I were on a fantasy keeper team, if I'd take them, for next year, this and that, but there will be some bumps in the road early. That much I can almost guarantee.
Okay, and then I want to ask you about Chris Rusin and Matt Harvey. Colorado at the Mets. Harvey is just awesome, and Rusin struggles even on the road, not just at Coors. It's going to be a huge favorite line for the Mets, but maybe it's warranted. Is Harvey just going to have a major edge here?
We're talking about Matt Harvey, not only one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, but he's pitching extremely well. So there's a slam dunk who's got the pitching advantage. The odds makers are already aware of that. So it's a matter, do you want to maybe lay the 1.5, or there's some team things that say to either avoid this completely, or I wouldn't really go against the Mets at this point either. So it's either the Mets on the run line or you pass.
All right, and then there's 2 games, both featuring guys who have at times been excellent in their careers, but have both been getting hit hard since the All-Star break. That's Sanchez and Ventura in Detroit at KC, and then Gallardo and Gibson in Minnesota. All 4 of these guys have been getting hit pretty hard since the All-Star break. Do we expect anything different from any of these 4 guys, or do you think we should lean towards overs in both those games?
Offhand, I would say, the high-scoring games, but the totals are going to be pretty high. We know that Gallardo's just been getting drilled for the most part the entire year. As far as, did anything jump out and say that one of those 4 pitchers is going to come up with a good outing on Tuesday? No, not necessarily, but got to wait to see what the exact total is, and then weigh the the offensive numbers too before I say an over. But it does appear to be bad pitching. Well, the pitching matchups that would favor the over at the or a high-scoring game.
And then Kazmir and Bumgarner, that favors a low-scoring game, right? What will the total be on that one? I guess we're going to see 6. Slight possibility we might even see 5.5. Will we see 6.5? I don't know. I'm thinking 6 with the way they're setting totals up now. But both these guys have been basically lights out, except for a couple of starts at Texas. Kazmir's last start at Texas, he got hit a little bit, but I think that's a little bit excusable. And Bumgarner has also been great, except for his bad start at Texas 2 starts ago. if both these guys go 6 or 7 innings, giving up 0 or 1 run, then maybe an under even at 6 has value. What do you think, Joe?
Well, these are two guys they're going to leave in for more than 6 or 7 innings if they are pitching well. Yeah, Scott Kazmir is as hot as any pitcher has been in years. .45 ERA in his last 6 starts. That goes back to July the 2nd. But Madison Bumgarner, we know that he's a tremendous pitcher, certainly a big money pitcher. The total, it's not going to be 5.5. We usually see those in the playoffs where you know that they're going to have the pitchers pitch deep into a game and where the bullpens are more rested, etc. But yeah, it's going to be a very low total. But because of that, I wouldn't automatically bet the game under. But at this same time, I mean, Kazmir's been unhittable, and Bumgarner is one of the better pitchers in baseball. So do I see any reason it's going to be high scoring? No. But, there's a small margin of error when you got a total of 6.
All right, and then the other game that I'm thinking about, not sure what to make of it, Chris Tillman, he returns. He was out for a while with a sprained ankle. Of course, before he went down for a number of starts in a row, he was awesome, and I was tailing him in most of those starts. Now he returns at Seattle. Taijuan Walker on the other side, been up and down. I guess the big question mark is what do we expect from Tillman? Is he going to be as good as he was when he went out for a short while?
I usually like to ride guys like Tillman who are in great grooves, but as you said, it's about he hasn't pitched since July, so that could possibly get him out of the groove. In the case of Walker, Walker's been very streaky, but after a very tough start to his major league career, he settled down. He's still been a lot more good than bad. 3.35 ERA over his last 13 starts. Because, Tillman, as I said, the fact that he had to skip a start can take him out of the groove. I'd be a little bit nervous about him. And then again, with Walker, kind of bet on inconsistency there. So it could actually be a surprisingly high-scoring game. At least one of these pitchers could get knocked around.
Good point, Joe Duffy. All right, well, I don't know. I'm thinking, I think I'm leaning under in Kazmir Bumgarner, even though we're going to see a 6 in that one. Probably also leaning under in the Yanks and Cleveland game, even though the Yanks lineup, of course, can be very explosive, could easily be explosive late in the game. Maybe I'll go with the first 5 inning under. What else would you like to bring to our attention from Tuesday, August 11th, Joe?
You did a very good job covering most of my bullet points. I would add that the Braves, Williams, Perez, he's been knocked around.
Yeah.
He got hit with a line drive up the middle, and he wound up missing he skipped a start or two. He actually went on the DL. Now, has it had a psychological effect on him? Perhaps. Not that he was a stud pitcher before that, but he's given up 14 earned runs in just 10 1/3 innings pitched. So, and of course the Braves, I mean, they really struggle to score anyway. So, going against the Braves in this situation would seem like a pretty good bet, even laying a 1.5.
Yeah, that was a tricky one because Williams Perez actually, yeah, you might say he wasn't a stud, but he's one of those sinker ball pitchers that when he's on, you just can't really score against him. And he had decent minor league numbers in his rehab start. So I was kind of expecting him to come back and be pretty good, but that certainly hasn't happened. I think I'm staying off. I mean, if he has a 7-inning shutout game here, I mean, it wouldn't be a shock to me. He was good in the minors when he was rehabbing.
Yeah, but again, I know we have this conversation a lot. It's a good sign when a guy's good in the minor leagues, but what he does at the major league level means so much more to me. I mean, I've been in this business so long. I've seen a lot of those quadruple A pitchers, as they like to say, guys who have great numbers in the minors, and it just can't quite seem to click at the major league level. But like you said, I mean, maybe it is a case where Perez just has to get rid of some of those cobwebs, and he's now got 2 starts under his belt after coming off of the DL. So it's not like it would be the most shocking thing if he had a great start, but you're really going to have to put up a better argument to convince me to at least go with Perez in this situation.
All right, and Joe Duffy's final picks every day can be found at offshoreinsiders.com. Thanks so much, Joe.